I was able to recruit 25 incredible corporate leaders from companies like Microsoft, Appgate, Unisys, female entrepreneurs who run multi-million-dollar businesses. 80% of the people I didn't know until we worked on the strategy and I followed through on LinkedIn and I connected with them on LinkedIn. I think within like the first maybe 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks where the first 10 clients joined. And then shortly after that, made over $26,000 within 6 weeks. And more importantly, I just started to connect with these really incredible people. The results were pretty awesome. And just like keeping with the process every day, like that process discipline was a huge part of that. And then just testing and refining my message of like, what's working, what's not working. Because one of the things that your strategy afforded me was to connect with more people, basically to operate at scale as a single business owner and to be engaged with a lot of people. I put that in the win bucket just from a personal development standpoint and who I'm becoming as a leader of like, oh, that fear of being disliked and fear of rejection, those things, they crop up from time to time, but they're not holding me back from growing the business.
Beautiful.
So thank you. I don't think I've shared that with you of like how important that piece was as part of the process. But I have to say what was so amazing about working with you on the strategy, reaching out at scale, is the compression of time and the reps, you know, like it wasn't over the summer when I was exploring one-off coaching, like a no that I would receive really was the end of the world because I didn't have 5 other calls coming up that day, where using your process, I had 6 calls in a day. And so if 3 said yes, amazing. If 3 said no, amazing. So being able to like get those no's and yeses in a shorter period of time and build that practice and that discipline, you know, that was invaluable. Otherwise could have been just like fearing the one-off no's for an entire year, make no money and say, all right, yep, guess it's time to go back to corporate.
What would you say to people that are, you know, they feel that call within them, like we were talking about earlier, they know they're meant for something more, they want to go out on their own, they want to be their own boss, and that fear is kind of getting in the way? What would you say to those women?
I'd say 2 things. Number 1, you do have to trust yourself. And by that, I mean, not everyone wakes up and does have an idea or has a dream to be an entrepreneur. In fact, very few people do. So if it's even calling to you and like in your field of vision, that is saying something. And so trust that. And what I don't think it means is you have to leap out of corporate today. Although I do think there is something to just going for it. I'm kind of like a go all in and make it happen person. So if that's how you are, then I would recommend that. Trust that if the dream's there, it's for a reason. But then also you have to look around and just say, in my day-to-day life, do I act like a CEO? Do I act like an entrepreneur, even if I'm not one yet? Because you can't wait for that.
I know a lot of people will about coaching or want to step into a coaching container, and the fear around investing in themselves and in their business, especially when they're new, can be a big fear that keeps people from moving forward. What made you decide to take the leap and invest in yourself before you had the clients?
Ooh, good question, because I've never had a fear of investing in myself. You know, everything I spend money on is some sort of experience or growth. But, you know, before it was all like I had the money coming in. It was all, you know, I could do that. To then be like, wait, how am I going to invest in myself and make all these upfront investments if I don't know that they're going to pay off, and what are the right ones? And so I can tell you 2 things. One, I did make, I would say, some bad investments this year that who knows, maybe they'll pay off long term, but those were typically in very, very large group programs where you are one of hundreds of people. And I just realized like I'm someone who really needs personalized attention. And I think the reason is because I know that I'm a high performer. And when I work with a coach that's like direct, I love being like, okay, tweak this, try that, and then doing it and learning it. So I knew that one-on-one was really important. Smaller programs, so just anything where you're getting that attention because you do believe in yourself. And then the second thing I would say is It's never helpful to make an investment in yourself and your business out of fear or what if this doesn't work? Like you've planted that seed. Your mind is always looking for like, oh, it's not working. It's not working, you know? So imagine if the first week of outreach and I was like, Kayleigh, you know, I only got one call on the books. Like, I don't think this is working. What good would that have been? Versus like, I go into every investment and for working with you saying like, this is amazing. We're going to make this work. I'm so excited to learn. Like, I'm in. And so I just feel like so many of us are like half committing to a million things because we are afraid of failure, but we've set ourselves up for failure by not committing to it and just setting the intention and following through of like, no, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be successful. So I would say take the leap, trust that you'll be successful because again, you've now found yourself in the orbit of really interesting people for a reason. You know, how I connected with you, I was like, ooh, I trust this. Let's go. But you have to stay the course and just assume that it's going to work out. Like, why wouldn't it?
Just want to honor you for your special gifts, for spending some quality time with me. Is there anything else that you want to say to our audience of coaches and entrepreneurs before we wrap up that we didn't get to touch on?
I would just say, get Kayleigh on your team. If you want to connect with more clients, you want to have better sales conversations, and you want to continue to grow as the leader of your business, then Kayleigh, yeah, I mean, you've helped me do all of those things. So I want to thank you and just invite everyone to trust themselves and take intentional action.
Oh, thank you so much, Kayleigh. I appreciate you being here.